Oh my gosh, that one is so old.
It is, but it was so cute. I forgot that we had one that had the babies on there.
Anita,
Hi,
hello.
Anita.
So sorry we kept you waiting.
I
Jamie, would you like to go
apologize.
ahead? Thank you.
Sure, I'm so sorry about that. That was all on me.
Yeah,
Uh,
I wasn't. I was here early. I set
yeah,
up early.
I can't even say anything. Anyway, I'm sorry, but let's have a good night because we have had a couple of weeks to collect some information,
Some
stories, and stuff.
data.
Yes, so that we could share with y'all, and we were all excited for it. So,
I
um,
know. I want to tell you, I want to start off with I went and got my hair done today, and everything just feels good when you have your hair done. Let's just put that out there. Right,
okay,
Jamie?
yep, 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 yep.
I mean, okay, so I've got my summer hair out of the way. Now I'm back to my winter colors. You go darker in winter. At
Yeah,
least
you do.
that's what I do. And so my curly girl just does so good. Will I ever be able to replicate this curl again? No. No. It only happens every 6 months when she does my hair.
So you only go see the hairdresser or beautician or what thing,
A
hair person,
hairstylist. I call her
hairstylist,
hairstylist. I
like
don't even know if that's the term, if it's up to date.
you can only see them, or you only see them twice a year. Then
Yes.
okay,
Because curls are different. And I also suck at being a girl. Let's just be honest there. Okay. And the
okay,
reason I say I suck at being a girl is I don't have the every 6 weeks you go to, I ain't nobody got time for that.
yeah.
It takes everything that I have to sit still for that long. So my appointment was at 4:45. We were on time. We were actually early. I got out of there 7, close to 7. I mean, it takes a long time. So I just
Yeah.
don't have it in me. I don't. And she knows that. And I mean, I've gone like 8 months even. Oh my gosh, there's an angry face. I feel Chon's
A
presence is in
spirit
here.
is
The
here.
spirit has arrived. But anyway, so yeah, great day today, hair appointment, and I feel so productive. I scheduled my car to have its oil changed. I got it inspected while I was
Ooh,
there. I mean, I'm fixing to go get
you,
my tags ordered a month ahead of time. I'm
man, you are
I
like
am
on
just
point
I
today.
was
Like
on
this,
point today.
yeah. And then you even called me back like the same day that I called you. That was
I,
also earlier.
I was at lunch with Jacob today when
Okay.
you called me. And so I try my hardest to keep my phone when I'm speaking with people in my purse. Like I try not to have it out. I feel like that's kind of one of my things that's grinding my gears here lately is when you and I are having a one-on-one and then you're on your phone. That kind of grinds my gears.
Okay. That
It's
makes
getting
sense.
worse. You know,
Yeah.
it like it didn't used to bother me, but now it does. I was actually having a conversation with a girl and I told her a whole ass story and she didn't hear any of it because she was on
What?
her phone.
She didn't hear it because she was on the phone?
No, she
Like,
was like this on her phone,
uh-huh.
and we're across the table from each other,
Yeah.
and she didn't even hear my story. She didn't even hear me say, "Okay."
Sorry.
So since that, I have made it a point to not have my phone out because I'm working even during lunch. I still work. Unfortunately, I still have to take some calls.
So my
So if I see that
daughter
my
is
phone
like that.
rings from the office, then
Yeah.
I have to get it.
My oldest is very much like that too, Sandy. Like she needs to have your attention. She does not want you on your phone. She likes to have conversation. She likes to be engaged and eyes meeting. You know what I mean? And so, like all that stuff. So she has the same. Well, I don't know if it's the same heart as you, same heart and attitude, but definitely wants that engagement. Like, do
And I
not.
think it's important for kids especially to learn that.
And I
Like
feel
at
like
our
that's
table,
she's out of the loop. Not out of the loop. She is the outlier. I feel like she's an outlier because I feel like
mhm,
most kid, like my other kids, she's like that. No, she's like, wants to be in the phone and could sit there without being in conversation or engaged or anything like that, right? Only
Mm.
until she wants something. And then she'll put it down and be
Pass
like,
me something, yeah.
yes,
No, I think
yes.
it's important as a family to not be. You need to unplug. You need to focus on your family.
Do y'all have
Yeah.
like um, what am I trying to say? Like a specific family time, like this is cut everything off and we're here for each other kind of thing? Did y'all
Um,
always have it, or did it, like tell me, did you always have it? Did you only have it recently? How's that looked within the kiddos, you know, growing up in
we've
your house?
always had we've always had it. Um, for us, it's always been dinner. Dinner time has always been our thing. Like that's when we're
Right.
all sitting together. Dinner time is very important to me. And so we've always made it out a point for us to that's the sit and time talk.
Mhm.
And right now, with Cade being as busy as he is, we only get that on Wednesdays. So we only have family time on Wednesdays because he's out pretty much um
The rest of the week.
Monday through Saturday right now, the way his schedule is. So
Now, when Alex was there, was that a
same
thing?
dinner.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's always been for dinner for us.
And I can recall when the babies were little, like I remember we used to sit down together all the time, and then they got a little bit older. I feel like we still did that. Then Dr. Pineapples she used to be like, she still is just super busy, right? Like she's always had either a job or her practice that she was always just like uber busy. And she's always had like 3 or 4 jobs. And in the past, we used to talk about like, well, maybe I'll go get a second job just to kind of help things out around the house. But the problem is that out of the two of us, her time really is more valuable. You know what I mean? Like, so she can make more money for an hour of work versus me, where
Gotcha.
I'd have to work a lot of hours to
Mhm.
to figure the same out,
And
right?
then it takes away from your family time. And plus, too, I mean, I feel like because she's so busy, you're the one who does most of the, running the kids around and all that
Right,
stuff.
right, yeah, yeah. So like it'd be funny because anytime you'd see us out and about in the community, like the girls were always just with me. Like they were just,
Mhm,
so from as babies to toddlers to young kids, like they were just always with me, right?
mhm.
And I remember when someone once, I had made plans with them to go watch a movie with them and their granddaughter, because she was my oldest age, and she was like, okay. So then and I was like, oh, Dr. Pineapple would love to come to that. And so
Mhm.
then, I fixed it all up, and the weekend came, we went to go to the movie together. Dr. Pineapple shows up with me, and then my friend, she just kind of exclaims very loudly and almost cries. And it was like, what's wrong? And she was like, I thought y'all were lying. I thought you were lying. I was going to be out and come out and say it. I didn't think you were married anymore. And I thought that y'all had broken up or
Oh
divorced. And
my.
I was like, why are we all the way out here in the
Because you
field?
look like single dad with your kids.
And she was like, you're just everywhere with the kids, everywhere. And I never see your wife. And I just thought there was trouble at home. And I was like, no, no, she just is. When I say she's busy, I literally mean it. I'm not that good to hold up, a false story or something like that. I was
Right.
like,
I'd be like mess around and forget who I told what.
right,
The whole
and
world would
so I
know.
was like, no, yeah, yeah, she's very busy, but we still like to have fun at home and things like that. And I was like, and I knew she'd want to watch this movie, so there were always things that the Kisa and the in the family we do. It's just Dr.
Hi,
Pineapple
True
is like,
Hauntings.
hey,
How
she
are you,
just was
Cindy?
more, like where we're extroverts and very outward, whatever. My wife is that when she needs to be, but she gets her energy at home by herself.
Yeah.
So, having said that, in this year, she has been so much more outgoing. Like, okay, I'll go out to eat with y'all, for example. Like she's done that few times this year already, and that is like, So
Yeah,
yeah,
something new.
yeah, and it's not bad. I've always known that my wife just she doesn't like to be out in public so much. Not that she's afraid of people or anything. She really loves her energy gathering at home, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes
And
sense.
so I
Everybody
was just
just
curious.
grounds differently for sure.
Right. As to
And
me,
me,
okay,
I'm getting like the older I get, I'm like my social that I used to be like all out and doing things. Like now I'm just kind of like I'm good being at home. You
okay.
know,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I
yeah.
if I go out, I go out. If I don't, it's not really as necessary, you know.
Yeah. And I know exactly. I'm gonna open this can real quick.
John wants some
Oh,
tea.
that does actually sound good. But
He wants us to spill the tea probably.
um but like, okay, so yesterday, everyone, I was called I was feeling low. No, I was feeling detached.
Drained.
Detached. Maybe a little drained. I
Okay.
was feeling detached and a little drained, right? So I work like differently. When I'm away from folks, when I'm away from friends, when I haven't really connected and talked or whatever, like I start feeling the same way as people who are continually out in public feel. I feel drained. I feel like so much energy is being zapped from me because I can't connect with my people, if that makes any sense. Like I
Hmm.
need people around and I get that energy. And so I was like, oh my gosh. It was like from afar, I can see, I'm like, ooh, whatever you are, that is coming closer and closer and closer. And so I was like, I need some friends. And so I was like, the first person I call was Sandy, and you picked up, and I was like, oh my God, thank you. I was like, I just need someone, please. And so, and then here's the thing: is I don't mean there's nothing like
He misses his
life.
pet. I think so too.
There's nothing life like whatever. It's just those little things. They help me. And so, Sandy, she and I we're just chatting about nothing and messing, like whatever was in the world was going on, and just it, so, with Sandy, I can always laugh. Sandy always provides me some good fun. You know what I mean? Like we can laugh about the cool, fun stuff, the things I'm like, actually, I can't say that out loud either, but she will laugh with me on that. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, what we were laughing about was not very appropriate. But today, Jamie called me today and I didn't answer, but I called him back
She
because
did.
y'all, I have to tell y'all this story. This is awful. This is awful. So, I had lunch with Jacob and I'm leaving. As I'm leaving, I see this car approach me. And I always like, I've been rear-ended before, so I just kind of, just
Gotta
cautious.
keep
So
that
I
keep
just,
that
yeah,
eye
just
out.
gotta keep that eye out. And so anyway, y'all, the lady behind me was doing this shit. I mean, digging. And
Oi.
then she went this, and then she put it in her mouth. And it didn't stop there. It didn't stop. Then she went over to this mother trucker nostril, and then she ate it too. And then she was just, y'all, oh my God. Oh my God. I was
Oi.
on the phone. I was on the phone with Jamie describing it to him
Oh,
as I'm choking and I'm coughing up.
ooh, that's so gross.
It was awful. So
Oh,
then a select few people that I have on my Snapchat were also privy to my story. Look, Miss Nasty.
yeah.
Oh my God, Nasty. And this is normal behavior for children, I'm guessing. I never allowed my kids to eat boogers in my presence. So,
Ay,
but
cochinos.
anyway, it was disgusting. Let me see. I just saw a lady do that a week ago. She swirled that junk in her mouth. I was dead.
Oh, oh.
There's like some sort of deficiency going on
What
with these
is that's some
creatures.
Pika level stuff going on
That
right
yeah, that's definitely
there.
pipe. There's
Or pipe, sorry. Oh,
you've got some sort of deficiency.
ugh,
Like you need to see a
ugh.
doctor. This is disgusting. Anyway, that was I'm like, I don't even like why. Why
It's
did I
so
have the displeasure of having to witness that? It was
oh,
awful. Awful.
that is
Anyway,
gross.
so how was your weekend? What'd you do this weekend?
Let's see this weekend. I went for the first time in years since before all the world had changed. And I couldn't even tell you how far before that I had went. But we went. I took my youngest wanted to go to Olive Garden after church, and I took her
Mhm.
there. Okay, let me tell you. I saw this real short, whatever you want to call it, right? Where this woman was going to Olive Garden, ordering the unlimited pasta, and then throwing pasta in bowls and
Is this
little.
like extreme cheapskates? I
I
can
don't
picture
know,
it.
Sandy, but I saw that and I thought, and so then but I would never go to Olive Garden on my own. Just no bad reason. I just wouldn't go. Right? Pasta's not my jam, even though it can be. I try not to make it because it's just. I figure it's like a waste of space. Like if I'm gonna eat something, I want a nice steak or a giant burger. I don't want pasta.
Steak.
Okay. Yes. So we go. My oldest is like, they have purple cabbage in their salad, right? So
Oh,
anyway,
right.
we went and they had this never-ending pasta for 13, $14, right? Seems a little high for pasta. But
Because
then
it's never ending. And here's the deal. So it's like you pay this ungodly amount of that's a lot of money for pasta, but you're paying for those people that go back 3 and 4 and 5 different times. You might go once and these people go anyway, go ahead.
so we got there. It didn't taste well to my little one though, so they ended up kind of refunding it or whatever they did for that. And then on mine, I was like, I'm hungry. So I was like, let's go back 3 times and get me
Oh
some
hell
refills. And I ate the first two on my own, but the third one, they kept. So I don't know if they do it to y'all. If y'all are Olive Garden connoisseurs, let me know. But in the comments and whatnot. But the guy was very. He was first off, he was a 10 out of 10 when it comes to servers. He was
Oh, nice.
fantastic. Wow.
Nice.
Um, but he was really without being pushy, but very suggestive about getting refills. And it was just weird, but I was like, okay. And so I'm like, go ahead and
He was
send
like,
them.
"This is yesterday's pasta. I wish y'all should eat it."
So I'm like, yes, bring me some more. Yes, bring me more. And then I was like, go ahead and bring me another one. And then I was like, but put it to go. And he was like, oh, I made it. I'll just bring you some to go containers. I was like, okay. And I was like,
Do they do
great.
to go on their unlimiteds? I feel like it's almost like a
They
buffet
he
type thing.
really no, he was really pushing it.
Okay,
Like
that was
throughout the whole
2 day old
meal, he
pasta.
was
2 day old.
throughout the whole meal, Sandy, he was like, yeah, you can take some to go. You can take some to go. Like he said that a few times. Again, one of the greatest servers I've ever had. Not pushy, but very suggestive, right?
Like you were kind of like mesmerized. Yes, I do have
Yeah, I was like,
four
I didn't
bowls
think
of
I wanted
pasta.
it. Why would I know? But yes. And then I told my little one, I was like, you get some pasta, I get some pasta, you take some pasta home for your sister, I'll take some pasta home for mommy. And at the end of the day, though, Sandy, that's exactly what we did. I was able to eat my fill, and I even had meatballs and chicken parmesan, and we were able to bring food home for mom and for Sissy who didn't come with us. And I was like, never again, I think, will I not come to Olive Garden. Like, I'll only be able to bring one person so that we can make double meals to take home to those who are at home. And I don't
Saving
think I'm going to
money,
feel
like
guilty.
extreme cheapskate.
I don't think I'm going to feel guilty, Sandy.
So here's the fun fact: Olive Garden breadsticks are vegan.
No,
They
they're
use
not.
soy-based butter on it. Well, that's interesting. No
Wait,
idea.
but what about the breadstick itself? Wait, vegan bread. Oh, okay. Never mind. I see. Gotta keep.
You're thinking gluten.
Yes, yes, that's right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Um,
Good to eat. Snake is good to eat.
hush your mouth, John.
He's just trying to torture you. Let me
Uh,
go back to this comment.
okay.
Do people not realize that their windows are see-through? And this bee didn't even have tinted windows. She was like in a fishbowl. I swear that if you don't tint your windows, you're in a fishbowl. I mean, that's all
So
it is.
gross.
Yeah.
So the reel or whatever I was watching was because the woman just kept refilling these buckets or this extra stuff, and
And
she
nobody
was
saw
going
her?
outland. I don't know if her husband or partner in crime who was recording her, like, she's like this. She's like eating and then pouring some into a bowl, and then eating and then pouring some into a bowl under the table, literally. And then her exploits have her going like farther and farther, where she gets the bowl and she goes, whoop, and then just puts the bowl back. And she's like, can I get another? And I was like, shut up.
So she had like a big purse to carry all this in. She sneaks food into a theater. I bet she was going to the movies after that with that bag.
She was
I would
sneaking a
just be the
chicken
one that they
parmesan.
would, yeah, I would just be the one that they would make an example out of. That would be my luck.
Oh my gosh. But I was thinking, and I almost, like I said, I don't feel too guilty because the price of pasta is so cheap. Pasta is like one of those items on a menu where it almost ends up being like a zero cost because of how cheap it is. It's so pasta and rice and
I've
beans
just never
are
really
those
liked
items.
Olive Garden. I've just never been a fan. I think I've
Yeah.
been maybe once or twice
And
in
Joe
my life.
loves I remember when we were in Lubbock, Joe loved Carino's.
Johnny Carino's. Johnny
all
Carino's
the
had the
time.
best every birthday. We'd go to Johnny Carino's, but they also had the best angel hair pasta with like a lemon chicken, lemon herb crusted chicken. Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh my
So
gosh.
Sandy, one of the things I love to do at home when I like making like a Parmesan Alfredo sauce at home. It's
Mhm.
real easy, honestly. It's butter, milk, or butter, cream, and then Parmesan cheese, and you can make it right. So it's and garlic, and it's so good. Everybody else's plates, I serve them. When it comes to mine, though, I'll grab like a whole lemon, and I am just like dousing my pasta in it with that Parmesan,
I'm gonna
whatever
Google
sauce.
that recipe.
Sandy's gangsters
I don't
coming out.
know.
She had to
Or
put it
that
back in the check.
He Mr. Tip ass. Which, thank you so much for moving us right along, Sean. Let's talk about this because you know what grinds my gears? 2 tipping incidents this weekend. Let me tell you about it.
Tell us what grinds your gears, Sandy.
We went to Ouray, Colorado this weekend.
Oh, okay.
On our way out, because we were running super late, we stopped at Milshoe right at noon.
Okay.
And we said, let's just have lunch here at old Liao's Cafe or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. Liao's.
Yes.
Anyway, so we come in. I ordered the lunch special. They have they call them Guadalajaras, but most everybody knows them like es tostadas. They've got beans and cheese and tomato tostadas, Guadalajaras, chalupas. They've got more names than a Mexican baby. Anyway, so she comes out maybe once, gives us a refill, and that's it. Maybe during our drink refill, she asks us if everything was good, and they ask you when your mouth is full. We're like, you don't even know.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So anyway,
that drives me nuts. By the way, I can't handle if you're only coming out to see me once and I need refills or even just how are you doing or whatever.
Yeah,
like, I don't need a full blown conversation. Yeah, it's more about just making sure my table is taken care of. My kids. Yeah.
Eric gets up and he goes to pay, and we get in the car, and he said, "You will never guess what I had to tip." And I'm like, "What do you mean what you had to tip?" And he said, "The minimum tipping option was 30%.
Shut up.
So at most restaurants, at most places, it's like 15, 18, and 20. Now some of them have done away from 15. Now they're like doing 18, 20, and whatever. So my $11 plate with the tea, I mean, it ended up being almost 40. I can't remember it, but it was a lot for a lunch special and a mandatory 30%. And it wasn't like you could change it like to custom. It had the 30 and whatever. And so for minimal. Anita said more names in a Mexican baby.
You said that. We were
I
laughing.
know. I was just reading what she said.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding? Now,
No,
this
I
is
wish
a
I was kidding.
grand way to tick me off on this because you all
And I'll
know.
never be back. I will never be back because you did not let me custom tip. The minimum that I ever do is 18% anyway. And that's still pretty damn good for you doing minimal jobs. Okay. So that was my first tipping incident of the week. The second, we went to breakfast. Once we got to Ure the following day, we went to breakfast. Convenient. It was right behind the hotel. So all I had to do was just walk right on over. Okay. You get to the please wait to be seated. So we'd stand there in the cold waiting to be greeted. Okay. The guy comes out. I didn't look at the menu, so I didn't know that it was buffet. So he's like 2 for buffet. I just explained to you how I feel about buffets because I'm just like, we're not going to eat a buffet's worth. So anyway, it doesn't matter. You still pay. They had a tip jar that said, even the Titanic tips. Anyway, so we get in. There is no server. It's a buffet. You get your plate, you dip everything out, and you go sit down. You grab your drink, and you go sit down. When you're done, you remove your plate and your trash, and you go put it up. So what did I tip for?
Shouldn't have tipped for nothing.
What are you asking me before I even go in?
Should not have had to tip for anything.
Exactly. If I'm busting my own table, if I'm getting up and refilling my own coffee, what am I tipping you for?
Yeah, I just don't get it, Sandy. Like this, some of these places are driving me crazy. It's like you drove me crazy already 2 years ago, right? And now you're just adding the salt on and pouring the lemon and digging it in. It's like these self-serve type places and things. It's like, and it goes across the board everywhere. You go anywhere and everyone's asking for a tip. I'm like, and I am not anti person deserving a tip.
No, I'm not.
Anti asking for tip on everything. Like, if you're not delivering my food or any of my products that I want, I don't know that I should tip you anything.
But so
And y'all
here's
can
the
correct
deal.
me.
And I feel like Starbucks charges you enough that I shouldn't have to tip you. My $6 coffee has now turned into a $7 coffee because you don't have for me to decline. Or maybe I'm just so blinded by the guilt of not wanting to tip.
And maybe that
And
can
look at
happen,
this.
right?
Why does Subway want to tip?
Why? True Hauntings? Why does Subway
Because
want to tip? Why does Crumble want to tip when I'm going to pick it up? I'm walking my happy butt out there, walking in the store, picking up the cookie and getting back in my happy butt in the car to go home. Why do they want to tip? And then, hold on. So when you look at these tip lines, let's take it a step further, right? So it's not about just the tip, but their minimum starting thing. Who in the world has heard of a minimum 30% tip? Or, I mean, an automatic minimum. 2 faux pas right there now.
Like
2 faux pas. Where do you do that?
I'm sending you the tip jar that I saw this weekend. I don't understand. Like, I get the servers that make the $2.13 that come in and wait on you. Like, I get that. That to me has never been an issue. But if you're making your wage, let me, out of the kindness of my heart, tip you. Don't guilt me, and don't say, oh, there's just one little question that you have to answer right here. And what is it? It's the tip line, like how much I'm going to tip you. It is just out of control, honestly. It really is.
It really is. And I already have my belief about tips. And like I said,
look at Sean, tip ass dude.
I do not like tipping. Hey, Joanne, I do not like tipping, but when I do it, I do believe it should, one, be for people who service me. So if you're taking care of me in some major way, you deserve a tip for that. I get, no, uh, I don't have a problem giving you a tip. That's what I'm going to say. I don't have a problem giving you a tip, right? Two, like just pay your people well enough. I mean, have you started seeing some of these prices? You know what I mean? Like they've gone up significantly.
I mean, we're to the point to where we're just eating a lot at home right now because just for Eric and I to go
It's
somewhere
like
and
$40, right?
I
It's like
mean,
easily.
easily $40. So even
Yes.
if we split something, it's like insane. Probably the cheapest that we just ate, we went to a newerish place here in town. It's called Mantis. They have these huge servings, right? So
She
we
said they have
got
these huge men who bring
no
it.
huge serving. So we split our stuff. So between two of us, that was the cheapest we'd eaten in months, 17
Wow.
bucks for that.
Jeez.
But yeah, when we go out to eat Chipotle, that was $34 for two of us. $34.
Yes, I took the kids to oh, I can't remember where it was, but it was, it's like Burger King or something like that. And I was like, "Come again? I just getting a couple hamburgers for the kids."
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's insane.
so yes, oh, I see there's a comment in there. Look, it's not about, again, it is not it's not just about earning your tip. I already believe, and Sandy and I, we worked in the hospitality industry, so there is this automatic, okay, like servers, they should have a tip because their take home pay is so minimal. It has to be supplemented by tipping. That's just what has to happen. But
And you work your butt off to that. You're not
yes,
entitled to
you're not
that, which
entitled to it.
comes into play when Janae is saying, earn your
And I
tip.
get that. But
Exactly.
from what we're talking about, I cannot handle people asking for tips that are just like, why? So let me give you a list of people who I have seen request tip. And I've listened to the reports on it. It's sending, like, I'll send them every so many months. I'll send them a report or a news thing. Listen to this one, right? Where they call it tip fatigue. Okay. And it's been like, so mortgage companies have started asking for tips. Mechanics are asking for tips. Photographers, wink, wink.
Joe Baker does have a tip
Freaking
line.
Joe Baker has a tip line. And then all the self-service places. I
GoFundMe has a
go.
tip line.
They do have a. You're right, Sandy. They
I just
do.
donated to
I
a GoFundMe and I'm like, what? Like it just really pisses. I'm like, what for? What for?
Yes, yes, I hear it too. And
So
yeah, so the list is just expanding and it gets out of control. And again, so some of these horrible, horrible practices that we see is like that's the first one I've ever heard, Sandy, of an automatic minimum tip and it being at 30%.
and starting at 30%. Yeah, that's the insane part. 30%. Yeah.
My mind is just like, what?
Let me catch up on these comments. Do the math. Sometimes the suggestion is wrong. The 15% suggested was actually more like 20%. It was flat out wrong. Oh, that's
Mhm.
wild. And I don't. I mean, I think Eric has just taught me like just double the first number and it ends up
Uh-huh.
coming to 20%. I never look at the suggested thing.
Mm.
Sean said DQ, Sandy. We can't eat at DQ. I mean, I
Oh,
would love to
that's where
eat
it
their
was.
burger,
That's where it was. It
but
was like
we
30,
just don't
50,
eat there.
$40 there
Yeah, Dairy Queen is
for three
one, they're
and two
slow as
kids.
hell, and then it's expensive. And then tip ask Joe. Exactly. Tip
Exactly,
ask
John.
Joe.
Y'all all tell Joe why he asking for tips. He's like,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
force them. I just put it on there if they want to get. I'm like,
If they want to do it, they can, is what he tells us. So
and it's
anyway,
I'm not done yet. So then you get like, so you hit on an important part earlier. You said you feel this something if you
what?
don't do it, right? Like you
Yeah, it's like a tip
guilt.
guilt. Yeah.
Yes. And you shouldn't have to feel that way. And I wish I could give that to you. But here's the thing, because I don't feel guilty not tipping. Let me rephrase that. A lot of times I don't feel guilty. And the times that I do feel guilty is places where I'm not 100% sure of, right? So like the coffee place. I still don't know how to tip there because I don't do that. I don't go get coffee and I don't get drinks at a coffee place often.
I
So I'm
just
not.
tip a dollar. I just tip a dollar because I know that they get paid good money. I've seen their ads. Their starting pay is 10. to $12 an hour.
So what
And who
everyone
keeps that tip?
yeah. Okay, real quick on that. Put a pin in that one. Let me finish this one. Everyone else in the comments, tell me, what are you tipping when you go out to the coffee places? I'm just curious because I don't know. And I'm glad you said that, Sandy, because I feel like, okay, I think I do like $1 or something like that. Um, okay. Now, what was the
I
pin
just I
again?
just can't justify doing even $3 because now my already expensive $6 coffee is that. But here's the deal. So I that's like the closest to my office. The next coffee shop is further on, which is why I go to Starbucks, not because it's because it's the only one that's there.
Mhm.
So
All right. And then, so we put a pin on, what was it? What was it you said?
oh gosh.
Shoot.
It just
If you
landed
guys
in
can
my
help
balloon.
remember, remind us what it was. This pen was worth nothing.
The
Jeez.
guilt.
Oh, so like, screw that, man. Like, if you want, like, I shouldn't have to feel anything about tipping. Like, I should not have to feel that, and you shouldn't make it harder on me. So this whole automatically including the tip on a check, and then if I want to not tip, I have to do extra steps on the app to do it. I think that's some dumb baloney right there. Like if you see, so sometimes they'll say, like, I think this is Crumble. Crumble, I'm blasting you because you upset me with this. They do like a 2, 5, 10% or something like that, right? And then they have a no tip button. But you got to press the no tip button, and then you have to, or a custom tip or other tip. You have to hit that button, and then you go and you enter 000 specifically,
Oh,
and then hit
and people
OK.
and they're watching you like this mother trucker, this
And that's
cheapskate.
why I started doing it on my phone, Sandy. I started making those requests over my phone because I don't have to stand in front of anyone. And forget you for making me not you, but you know,
No, I
freaking
know the general
from
use.
yeah, for making me feel like I'm a terrible person for not tipping you.
Oh, it's insane. So Janae says, I hate when the tip is asked before I get my coffee. Let me taste that shit to make sure it's good. I tip my leftover change 1, or if it's damn good, I'll tip 5. I'm picky. Oh, I know.
Wow,
I've gotten shit that tastes like beef broth, and I'm like, I didn't
Mm.
order beef broth. I ordered
Oh,
coffee. Like, what is this? But yet
yeah.
I've already had to pay you, and then before you hand me my coffee out, exactly. So Cynthia says they start to 10 to 12 an hour.
Oh, now I remember where it was. The pin was the tips. Who are the tips going to, right?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
That's what it was. So, okay. All right. So if you, whatever amount you make, if I choose to tip you, that tip should go to you. It should go to you.
But okay, so here at Starbucks, though, you have your barista and then you have the
Mhm.
person that's taking care of the drive-through. So when I tip my little dollar, who's that going to?
Right. I feel like that would be community. And I don't feel like it should be community. But I don't know if
The
I'm right in that
community,
sense,
uh, I don't
right?
know.
Because at the places where we used to, or where I used to wait tables and Sandy used to host, we had to divvy up our tips to several different areas.
Yeah, so
Like
you
the
had it to the bus
hostess,
boys, the
busboys,
hostesses,
bartenders
um,
even, which was weird to me, but whatever.
I guess because they made y'all's drinks or whatever,
Yeah.
maybe. So, like for me, I worked my butt off
Mhm.
to get my tips. Like I would take drink orders, I would do stuff like that. I
But when
would help
someone
out.
else didn't and they had to share, they got to share in your tips. Now, I'm okay with this sort of minimum tip amount, but like when Sandy would bust tell, I had no problem giving Sandy a little extra. But if I had to put that little extra in the community bowl, I didn't like that because then that meant everyone could share. Now, let's be
Yeah.
honest here. There are some superb people out there that deserve a little extra, right? So, like for example, when Sandy used to host, she could give you a nice tabletop, meaning you'd get a nice family or a big, someone that could potentially
And
get
I
you a
wouldn't
nice
double
tip.
seat you, and if I did
And
double seat you, I would take your drink order
it was
because
so
because
nice.
you know how when people would be like, "We want that table," and you're like, "I just sat somebody right there. I cannot mess up the routine." And then they're like, "But we
Messing up my
prefer this one."
flow.
Yeah, exactly. So then you'd have to double seat. So when I did that, I would make sure that I'm like, "Okay, let me go ahead and get their drink order to help them out and be like, your server will be
Yes,
right
and
with
that
you, get
little
your
bit
chips.
is so nice. Oh, it
Yeah.
was so good. It was a great feeling. So here's the lesson from all this, everyone. Here's the lesson from this. And I
Here's
try
the
to follow
lesson right
this.
here.
Yeah.
Hell no to tip.
You're not
Good
wrong,
tip.
John. You're not wrong. Let me tell you, on the higher side of things, tipping is archaic and should go away the way of the dinosaurs. I've said it throughout the years. I stand behind it. That is not the same thing as saying a person like a server doesn't deserve a tip. That's different.
No.
What I am saying is the concept of tipping should go away, and everyone in the service industry should be paid a fair minimum wage versus having to do that tip, because it's so weird. These people get tipped, so it's undeclared money from the government, right? And on top of that, you were like, but I want you to assume 100% of those tips on your W-2. But I also want you to give some of that money over here, some of that money over there, and some of that money over here. Now, also, if I'm the business and I have to give you tip money because credit cards have been put on the tip, I'm going to need you to take that, but I'm also going to keep a percentage of that because I need to pay the credit card processing company for the money I gave you. People who get tips, they just get their money. They don't ever get 100% of their tips. It's horrible. It's disgusting. So let them get paid the fair living wage, not give them tips, and then they get 100% of the money that are due to them within the hour of the hours that they work. That's my thought. Anyway, you do not have to tip. Okay, you don't have to
Do
tip
not
everyone.
feel guilty,
You do
Sandy.
not need to feel guilty. Sandy, yes, I'm.
Gosh, I do.
You
I'm
don't need to feel
guilt-ridden.
guilty. You don't. I can't tell you what to feel, but I'm allowing you to say, get all the apps to all the places you want then, so that you can order everything from your phone, and then you don't have to feel guilty about not tipping on there because no one's looking at you. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Let's move on from tipping
Let's move on.
to no mames way. Oh, hold on. Some comments coming in. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Anita said, I went to a Mexican restaurant. I ordered at the counter. The tip jar was there on the counter. The lady said the tip jar was for the restaurant owners and not for the servers. So I had to tip my server too. What?
Oh, I wish Gordon Ramsay would go there. I wish John Taffer would go there. That is disgusting.
Insane. Is that here in Lubbock, Anita? Look, don't be shy. Just drop the little name in the comments.
That is horrible. Like, okay, that is the absolute, like, that is the worst. And I've seen that crap on those TV shows, right? Where they take the employees' tips, and it is disgusting. They are so nasty for doing that. It's like, you don't get a tip.
But at least the servers know.
Oh,
and
my
they're like, hey, it goes
gosh.
to the owners.
So, and that goes back to my earlier point. Try to have cash on hand. When you have cash, that automatically guarantees that the server does, or the service person does not have to pay that person, and not in community jars either. So when you have cash, carry cash at least to tip if you can. Okay, because when they do that whole credit card part, right, and the company says, I'm going to take a piece of that for the um processing fees,
in Lubbock. Text me the name.
then that means that the tip amount, what they end up saying is they're like, okay, well, since you have to tip out 10% to the host, bus door, barman, everything else, we'll also decrease that amount and give it to you. But guess what? At the end of the year, if anything, the credit card tips are the only source of tipping and income that a server or service person cannot say they didn't receive.
Oh, that's because it's reported.
Because it's reported automatically. So on every credit card tip, that 100% it does not go to the server, but it is reported as though the server has done it. And so, but they didn't get 100% of that credit card tip. So pay them in cash, because then they can say 0 on the tip line in the reporting thing and can just pocket it and go home with it. Yeah. Okay.
Well, good
Sorry.
tip for that.
Yes.
So Cindy says 2 weeks before Christmas, we go out to eat and tip $100 cash. So this was a couple of years ago. Eric and I, we went out with the intention of we're gonna give an extra tip. So ours was $50, and wouldn't you know, we had the worst server on the planet. But we'd already
Of
committed to
course
it.
you did. God
We
dog it.
already committed, and let me tell you what happened. So we went to this restaurant
Oh, I'm
that
so
says
sorry.
we have gluten-free stuff, right?
Okay. Okay.
So we ordered a gluten-free cheese sticks. We have been gluten-free at this point 3 years. Like
Okay.
you can't mess that up when we order something. Like we know that we're ordering gluten-free.
Okay.
Anyway, get out our cheese sticks, and I was like, "Are these gluten-free? Because they look super real." She's like, You didn't ask for gluten-free."
Oh no, mames. Why? Ooh. What?
Attitude. And I was like, well, since we do have a gluten allergy, I would never not ask for gluten-free." So then she goes and tells the manager, and I can hear her. She's like, "They ordered the wrong stuff."
If
And
I
so I'm
said
just like, Jesus, I know. I know that I said I was going to donate, but please let it be somebody else that I donate to. Like, why got to be this girl? Anyway, we still ended up tipping her the $50,
sure. She must have
but
thought she was a great server. She's like, see, I helped them see the error of their way so much they gave me a
she
$50
said they
tip.
realized that it was their mistake
And they
ordering
wanted
those
to
cheese
apologize to
sticks.
me.
That's exactly what she's thinking. To this day, she's
Jeez,
probably
Sandy.
retelling the story.
Yeah. She's like, this is how great of a server I was. Check me out now.
Yeah. Uh,
So
anyway.
okay, and I know this is challenging, right? And the girls, my girls, they'll all, they all say the same thing. They're like, "Don't." This is one of the reasons why Dr. Pineapple doesn't like going to a restaurant with me, because she's like, he can't leave without telling the manager something good or bad or maybe both. So you can't just have a nice meal when you go out with J Pineapples. No, but I do make it a habit of telling the server or the managers something good or bad at every, and I don't aim for bad. I always aim for something good on the server or something about the kitchen or the food, right? And I'll hoop and holler until I leave the place. And I felt bad I didn't get to do that with the Olive Garden server, because he really was like, this is like, man, he was spectacular. Okay.
So I usually don't ever try to get involved like with the manager, have the manager, come over or whatever. We
Mhm.
were at Albrand's. Uh, we had a big party. I want to say it was like 8 or 9 of us, right? Well, there was a party behind us that was actually taking it. It was like to 3 8 tops lined up with an aisle in between, right? So this particular party was taking up both sides with the aisle in between.
Okay.
So when we got in, we sat down and we saw that the server was obviously had their hands full. So they usually have somebody else that brings out your chips. So we're eating chips and we're fine. None of us are complaining. We're too busy in our world talking about whatever, no big
Mhm.
deal. So
Chips are gluten
anyway,
free. Our chips
do
are
what?
gluten free.
Corn chips.
Ah, nice. All right,
So
sorry.
yeah, no, you're good. So anyway, we're sitting there talking, and because I'm always eavesdropping, I hear an altercation has started.
Okay, okay.
The young server was sitting there taking everybody's order, and he goes over to the other table. And so he's like, "Okay, do I have everything correct?" And they're like, "Yes." And then as soon as he walks off, the lady's like, "Sir, sir." I mean, just obnoxious and loud. You know how Raza is,
Yes, I uh-huh.
obnoxious and loud.
Yeah,
And so he's like, "Ma'am, I can't keep coming back. I have to go check on my other tables." Well, they get offended. Like
yeah.
you would have thought she kicked her in the shins and talked about her grandma and spit in her food. She was that offended. And so
Jeez.
this guy starts dropping. He's like, "Bring that manager." I can't remember what the manager's name was. "Bring him up here right now." He's like, "Okay, I'll be right back." And so he goes and puts in his order, and then he's like, "The manager is super busy right now, but if you need to go down there, then you can go down there and talk to him." Well, it just makes him even madder. The fact that he's name dropping and then that name drop doesn't even come up. Anyway, so fast forward, someone finally comes and takes their order. They apologize. They're slammed, and we're like, "Hey, look, we're probably going to be the chillest people that you have tonight, so don't worry about us." Anyway, so when I leave, I make it a point. I see that manager's name, and I remember, and I'm like, "Hey, I want you to know that your server handled those people as graceful as they possibly could. I said those people were being obnoxious, and I went on to explain, and he said, "Okay, you know what?" He said, "You know what? I appreciate you letting me know that because they went down there and blasted him and made it seem like he
Oh
slapped
my
everybody and kicked their
gosh.
puppies." So, anyway, I typically don't have interactions like those, but I felt like this poor kid needed to have
Yeah,
some
he needed a
backup.
little bit support from someone else. And
Mhm.
see, and that's what I do. So I will rarely, never, no, actually, it doesn't make sense. No,
She suck.
I,
She ass.
I legitimately try to find the positive and definitely report the manager to that on that as many times as I can because I do feel like that is my personal way to give back also to the world where it's like there's so much negativity, right? And so I know that it's a bother, it can be a bother, but I'm like, I feel like it does more good than harm by leaving the manager without the information. And so we're always in a situation where we're like, man, they did good. But you know what I found out what it's did recently, Sandy?
What?
So the girls have started thinking like that now.
Oh,
And at
really?
13 and 15, they're always thinking, now they're like, Dad, she did really good. Or she had a nice smile. Or she was really peppy when, they brought out our food, or he was really nice. And so they start saying all these positive comments about them. And when there's someone special, they're like, Dad, you need to tell the manager. And then I'll say, you can do it. And they'll be like, no, 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 no. And so if I call the manager over and I start it, the girls will be like, yes. And he was da 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 da, or she was really da da da. And they'll put in a little thing. And I'm like, oh. And so my youngest, who I went to Olive Garden with, she went out to the car early because she was like, it was taking a while. And I was like, okay.
Mhm.
And she texted me, she goes, are you okay in there? And I was like, yeah, there was a whole thing that happened, nothing bad, but it took a little bit longer. And she goes, okay, make sure to tell him he did really great. So I was
Oh,
like,
that's good. But and the thing about that is like you're setting an example for when they go out into the work field and they think, how would my dad want me to present myself?
yes,
It's a good
good
example for them
point.
to see that, you know? So
Yes.
they'll mimic and say, "Hey, this is what gets me more of a tip," or just stuff
Hmm,
like that.
hmm,
They're
hmm.
learning, they're absorbing, they're little
They
sponges.
are, and I do like that part. And I don't mind carrying that stigma or whatever around the house because I do try to make it a more positive than negative at times. Now, I will also say lately when I have to do negative, I do it because I get upset about spending so much money. Like if I'm coming out to eat and bringing my family and being asked
I mean,
for
because you're a
a
family of
lot.
4,
Oh my
you're over $100. You're over $100
yes, yes.
between
So if
drinks,
I'm doing
between
that,
appetizers, dessert.
everything, Sandy, everything. Well, and you know what? I'll even say outside of appetizers and dessert, it's still like $70 easy. So
Oh,
easy.
yeah,
No,
trust me.
no, no, no. Actually you're right because I
I
was
was
thinking
gonna
about
say
my
it's
last
over
interaction.
100.
I didn't eat. I didn't eat, and it was still $70. And it's not like my family got a ton of stuff, but they got food, and I was just like, really? Anyway, um, I forgot where I was going for that. So never mind. But yes, yes, it is. Oh, I feel like if I'm going out to eat and I won't say wasting, spending my money, a lot of it,
You
like I
don't wanna
want to
waste
get
it.
the right stuff. Yeah, I went to Buffalo Wild Wings the other night, and I bit into that wing, and I was like, this thing is not hot. And so I was
Oh,
like, huh.
no.
And I told the
Oh,
server, I was like, look, it's not really hot, but she was like, what do you want me to do? Anything you want me to do, and I'll do it. And I was like, I appreciate that. I was like, just let me I'll just come back later. And so I ate a couple more wings from different spots. And I got a big plate of wings. I got a huge plate. Okay. And I was like, no, it's still cold. But then I had ordered some tater tots early, and the tater tots came out. And I bit into one. I was like, geez, that thing was hot. But I loved it. I was like,
mhm.
now they're just going to get cooler. And I was like, you know what? I'm not happy with my wings. And because it was like 20 wings or so, I was like, ma'am, I want new wings. The whole
Drums
order,
drums are
all of
what
them,
are they?
both mixed.
But
But I was like,
what's your preference?
so drums, yeah,
I like
drums or
drums.
drumettes, right? So I like drums. That's where the big meat is on the. It looks like a
Mhm,
chicken leg, right? And
mhm.
so
What
I
are the
was
other
like,
ones called?
drumettes or flats. They're also called flats.
Flats. Yeah, drums are flats. I'm a
Yeah.
drums person. Eric's a flats.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I
And
don't
he
mind
cleans
it.
off his bones.
He what?
Like he just leaves bones. Like there's no
Good. That I hate taking the girls out for wings because they leave so much meat on the wings, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's
oh
me
my
and
god,
Cade.
y'all are
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah. Eric's the one who polishes it
Yeah.
off.
So she ended up bringing back new wings, and we could feel the heat emanating from the. It was like, yes. Now I have to wait a little bit before I can start eating. I much rather wait for my food to cool down than for me to be like, oh my
Than for
gosh,
your food to warm up at your table.
yes.
That's
So
funny.
anyway, I was just gonna say, if you are eating out, don't feel bad about having to tell them that the food's not to your level of liking. Not because you're bougie, because you're wasting. No, I'm sorry, no. You're spending your good, hard-earned money, and when you get sub what you're not expecting, forget that ish. You should get exactly what you want. Like if I go to Chili's, I want hot, crispy fries, and I want a nice hot burger too.
Because who wants cold food?
Who wants cold food? What
I
tastes
don't.
better when it gets cold? Like that's hot and gets cold. Maybe pizza.
Gazpacho, but that's cold, huh? It's served cold.
I don't even know what that word is, Sandy. I'm impressed. I don't know what is gazpacho.
It's like a tomato-based soup. Pretty
It's,
sure.
it's
Now I'm
like a
second
what?
guessing myself. Like a
No,
tomato-based soup. I think it's like tomato soup.
you might be right. I just have never heard of gazpacho. You know what it makes
Let
me
me
think of?
see.
That makes me think of the Gestapo. Make sure
Is a
that's right.
cold soup and drink made of raw blended vegetables. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Not tomatoes, it's vegetables. But
Still, that sounds
you know.
good. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, someone's ringing out with what I'm saying. What
I
I'm feeling.
agreed. Hey, Jams, get your money's
Hey,
worth.
Jams, Miss Jams. They're usually a combo pair that come when they watch.
Oh, hey, you guys, thanks for being on here.
Yes.
Okay, now that Jams is here, we can
Mhm.
move on to
Okay.
No Mama's News.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going
So,
to comic books.
ripped,
That was
ripped
a
from the
big fake for
headlines.
me.
We'll do that after.
Let me get some ready. Go ahead.
So, a woman has been accused of crashing weddings, but is it like what's wrong with crashing weddings? Well, not only did she crash weddings across 3 states, she left with the bride's groom and the bride and groom's money and gifts. She was arrested
Shut
at a
up.
ceremony Saturday in Pontotoc County, Mississippi.
Oh my
They haven't
God.
really released the details, but she was charged with petty larceny, trespassing, and disturbing the peace. So petty larceny is defined as stealing property less than $1,000.
That's petty larceny?
Uh-huh. But she would take their cards, their money, and anything that she could find, and they were able to identify her on a camera removing the gift items from the table.
Are
Isn't
you
that
kidding me?
insane?
That
Pinche
is
vieja,
I
no
know.
mames.
What in the world are you doing? Like seriously?
Okay, like crash a wedding so you can get some cake, right? But
Yeah, so you
this
can get a cake,
bitch,
so you can throw the rice, so you can,
yeah, to
whatever. Like,
partake in the
yeah,
festivities.
to have a good time, not to
Oh, I guess
make it
Joanne saw the same article. She said she had just gotten out of jail for the same thing. Double no mames.
super no mames.
Pinche vieja. That is
How in the
crazy to
world?
me.
You're terrible, woman. Oh, that reminds me. Okay, that reminds me of the woman who's about to get out of jail in 2025.
Oh, Yolanda Saldívar for
Okay,
killing
I
someone.
wouldn't even, okay, not even going anymore then. Now you're going to more. You're going more. Did you
I
hear
saw
that in Mexico, they haven't even had a Yolanda name since Selena's passing?
I would hope not. And I hope
That
that if you named your kid Yolanda, you went and changed that.
I hope so too. That's like, to me, that's the same as naming him Satan or Hitler.
Jam says 100% no mames. Juanito says no mames. Wait, LOL. Sean said Mrs. A ass. She's going to be released to go steal again.
2025.
She's got
Ain't that some
platform.
ish? How is she outliving?
She a big ass.
Ooh, my emotions are getting. I must stop on that. I
Okay,
shouldn't have even
let's
brought it
move.
up. Sorry,
No,
sorry, sorry.
no, let's
Ooh,
take on.
okay, okay.
So y'all know that aside from tipping, Jamie and I loathe. What do we loathe, Jamie?
Freaking gender
Gender
reveals.
reveals. Okay.
Oh,
Gender reveals have caused death, have
deaths.
caused disruption to the ecosystem, have
Huge disruption.
caused loss
Destruction to property.
of
In
lots of things, and none of ours, nothing of us has ever been affected, but it affects the world, and we hate it.
we at, like hate to the extreme. Like, there's not very many things in this world that I hate. Gender
We
reveals
hate
is on
gender
there.
reveals. So let me tell you
Yes.
about this
Tell
gender
us.
reveal that we
Let me get my
witnessed.
headache
Okay.
is starting to.
So here you have a mom on the Blackstone griddle. How much do we love a Blackstone griddle?
We love them over
We love
here.
a Blackstone
Yes.
griddle. She's making pancakes and she's doing fancy pancakes. Like
Oh,
she is spelling baby backwards and then lets it cook. And then she puts some more pancake stuff on it. And she's making pancakes and she's going to reveal that she's pregnant to her husband. Isn't that the sweetest, right?
that's the
It's not
sweetest,
it's
most.
not affecting me, it's not affecting
Yeah.
Jamie, it's not affecting the environment.
No, it's a
But
very private affair, it sounds like.
very private
Yeah,
affair.
nice.
But what does this nasty ass heifer do?
Oh.
She puts the freaking stick she just peed on, she sandwiches it
Ooh.
in between the freaking pancakes.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
And that's the surprise. Surprise, bitch. Taste my
Oh.
pee in your pancake.
Oh
Oh,
my
and I'm
gosh,
pregnant.
that's so gross.
It's disgusting. Disgusting.
No
Disgusting.
mames.
No mames,
Oh,
pinche vieja.
¿qué
Like,
estás
what?
haciendo? Oh,
It's
it's
it
so
was disgusting.
gross.
And I'm like, well, this was sweet. This took a really dark,
Ugh.
gross turn. Did you not think, like, dude, take a picture of it, and then if you want to sandwich that in there and give him chemicals to
Yeah.
eat, but you're
Yes.
pissed. You just pissed on the stick.
I
Anyway.
hope they didn't eat it. I hope they didn't disconnect the two and were like, oh, I'll still eat the pancake. Oh,
I just
you
was so
had me okay with you doing that
No, I
until you
was
did.
totally I'm like, Jamie, we're going to love this gender reveal. Nay, nay. No, no.
You had to go and throw your stuff in somewhere
You
it
had to go
didn't
and
need
throw
to
your
be.
pee
You
stick.
messing up with the environment on that. We didn't need to see that.
Nobody needs to
You
see
trying to
it.
trigger me. Y'all, they out there trying to trigger us. That's what they're doing.
They're doing
Don't.
a damn good job of it. Look at Joanne. She's nasty. Miss
Yes, Miss
Nasty.
Nasty.
Jam's like me, like, what the what? Like, did we really just witness this?
Yes, yes.
Anita said, well, I'm sure it had syrup. He didn't taste the
Stop.
pee. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Oh, that is so disgusting.
It was so
I
disgusting.
think like just keep. How did we do it back in the day? I just don't remember
The
if we
shit
had.
was a surprise. It was always a surprise. Like, we're not
Man,
remember, we just most recently had a death. Remember the pilot in Sinaloa, Mexico, like
yes.
crashed the plane trying to spread pink. I don't know what
Uh,
they were, something that was going to
the
harm the
powder that,
environment,
yeah.
shit like that.
Now, and
Anyway,
the grandest one, there was an uncle who got unalived because the what was it, that projectile thing that they built in the garage exploded in the garage and exploded on the freaking uncle, the brother to the father, and he went unalive. And then those acres and acres of land that were on fire in California was because of a baby
of a
gender
stupid ass
revealed.
gender reveal. Like,
Millennials
just
are
hide that
killing
baby.
me.
Don't
You're
even let us
killing me.
know that you done had a baby.
How do you think that baby's going to feel to be like, I was the cause of the great fire of 2020?
They're gonna be like, baby, it wasn't you.
They
It
are. They're
was
going to
the
be like,
weak
look,
ass
you
mother
got to have a
nature.
gender reveal. Oh, that's what mom's going to say. You're like, what? Oh, God. Did you learn
So
nothing? Sorry,
no,
go.
no, learn nothing. Next, no mamas, this happened to us. Okay. So Eric and I are going to Best Buy, walk into Best Buy, and there's this little child with the blanket, shoes thrown, kind of like this child is sitting in front of a TV watching Coco like she's in her living room, butt crack exposed. And I look around and I'm like, where's this child's mother? This little child was 3 or 4 years old. That's it.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
and I watch a lot of true crime shit. Y'all know that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
So what came through my mind? This sick pervert's gonna come in, snatch this little baby, and run.
Yep. Gone forever.
Gone forever. Because you couldn't make this child walk with you at Best Buy. You couldn't put their little ass in a basket.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so on my way out, I peeped. Little child was still in there, still sitting right there in front of the TV. No parents in sight. And we were in there for a good 30 minutes.
Someone just popped their kid in front of a TV to let them
By the
babysit.
door, by the front door, not even in like the theater room or nothing.
Oh
No.
my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, we have to do better. No mames, pinche gente.
No mames. That is
Yeah.
ridiculous, everyone.
It's
Like,
so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Like, you can't do that to your children. That's like sending your little children to the restroom by themselves.
and they're not. Yeah.
You just don't do that. Because guess what? Then they'll nasty ass. They're going to
Ugh.
wash their hands. They're going to touch the toilet. And then they're going to come back and like, Mom, let me have your food. And then pick. And that's your fault because you're nasty. That's what you get.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
There's
anyway.
some stupidness out there. I swear. Just stop with the gender reveals and take care of your babies, please.
And quit asking for tips.
And quit asking for tips. You're gonna get the wrath of the social distancing show on you.
I know
okay?
that's right. We will we will die on that hill.
We sure will. You cannot convince us otherwise at this stage in life that tipping is a good thing. What does it
Jam
say here?
says exactly. Crazy predators out there. What are they thinking? No mames. They're not thinking.
They're
They
not.
just wanted. And you know what? I was like, those MFs over there probably getting a freaking iPhone 15 while their little raggedy little child is sitting
Oh my
here,
gosh.
butt cracking everything. Little pelos all messed up. I do have it on video in case anybody wants to see it because I put that shit on Snapchat. Joke to best.
Okay.
All
okay.
right.
I'ma do
Joanne's
my-
favorite part of the show.
Yes.
Joanne, go grab a drink, go take a potty break.
This will take like 2 minutes, okay? Jams will be appreciative of this, and so is everyone else. Okay, so here's my comic books for the night, okay? All right, so there is this. Oh, wait a minute. Because we're in Halloween mode right now, right? We are in. Fill up the time real quick, Sandy. Help me out.
Oh, okay. So let me know if you want me to send you the video. A little scraggly little child. I didn't get her face. I just got the back, so I'm not going to be like putting people's children in danger or anything. But so while Jamie gathers that, you know what grinds my gears?
What grinds your gears?
People's desire to comment useless information. What's wrong with people? So this lady posted that she got scammed on a selling page, right? And she's like, does anybody know this person? Like, surely somebody knows her, right? Anyway, this heifer comes out and says, I know her. And so the lady's like, hey, can you please tell her to do the right thing? What does she respond with? She says, well, I knew her 14 years ago. No, nobody asked you if you knew her 14 years ago. We're talking about right now and in color. Can you access this lady and tell her to give this other lady her money back? But anyway, I digress. Useless information grinds my gears. Anita says, Joanne, it will now take 10 minutes. Come back, Joanne. Sorry, he wasn't ready, Joanne. Chon says she was totally, because this lady was legitimately trying to get either her product that she ordered or her money for her product that she was not getting. So she was just desperate to get something back because more and more these scammers are just, and it's like, you know what it is? It's the shop local people that are the ones that are always scamming
Okay, I'm coming
people
back, Sandy.
here. Huh?
I'm coming.
Oh, did you like leave the room? I thought you were listening to me. I was trying to get Joanne to come back from the
All
restroom,
right,
but
so
I don't think she came back.
okay. I wanted to show the most cutest thing, but I don't think I have them in. Jams, I need to get some of those trick-or-treat covers, okay? All right. So real quick, I'm going to share these in tandem with each other.
Well, grinds my gears, Jamie Pina. Now I have to wait for my potty break until he's ready.
All right,
Okay,
so
you can
check
go
these
now.
out. How cute are these guys? How cute are these?
Those are so cute.
Aren't they? Can you see them?
Look at his little widow's peak. It's just so precious.
These are so cute, aren't they? So
I
this
love
artist is
them.
named Rose Besh, and I'm not normally a big fan of these style. They call these chibi, and it's more of a Japanese style,
They're
but
called what?
chibi, and I don't remember what it
Chibi.
stands for. I think it's like baby or little, right? So como chiquito, and that's kind of what it is. So they're like little baby versions of them, and but these are so freaking cute, and her art style is so nice. So she did a whole series of them, and there's Green Lantern, Flash, and all the heroes and stuff. But I think these are so cute. So there's some other
Chibi.
ones, yeah. There's some other
Cute.
ones that are out. I'm going to show you on next week because I'm going to get some of those in so you can see them just in time for Halloween. You're going to melt. Let me just tell you
They're
that.
adorbs. They're
Yeah.
almost kind of reminded me like of the Precious Moments.
Yeah, the
Have you
little
seen
angels
those?
and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Jam
right.
said you should see the Wonder Woman. Super cute.
It is. It really is. All right. So look at this one.
Oh, God.
Superman red and blue, but let's see. I think it looks kind of cool like that.
It does. I like that one.
He's blue skin. I don't remember the
Yeah.
storyline right now. Maybe James can tell
I
me
was
on
gonna
the
say,
inside,
why is he
but
blue
I think he
skin?
just looks very cool though. And I'm a
Yeah.
sucker for a nice Superman cover, right? Like you can see over there. So all right, here's a cool one.
Excuse me.
And I was going to show this off to Jam specifically. Jams, do you recognize what this comic is other than an X-Men comic? This is, so there's a very famous artist.
There's a Spider-Man on there too.
Yeah, right there. So
Yeah.
this is an X-Men comic from the 90s. And there is an artist that Jams and I both like. His name is Jim Lee. This is his first X-Men comic. And then had I thought about it, Jams, I'd have sent this to you to send to Jim to get signed and then slabbed also. But this, yeah, it's pretty cool.
What's on the back? Is it signed?
No, I put a note on there so I can remember that it's his first thing. So when I get a comic, I'll go and research the comic, or if I know beforehand, look at it. And then when I get them in, I put notes on there so I can keep track of it all.
Mr. Jams is not here right now. It's just me, the Mrs. So it's Mrs.
Oh, hey, Mrs.
Jams.
Jams.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes. She loves watching you, Sandy.
I love having her in the audience.
So here's another one, Miss Jams. Here, this one is nothing spectacular also, but there's Wolverine on the bottom. But I like it because I didn't realize when I got this that this was the first. What did I write? Oh yeah, so this is the first appearance of Mr. Sylvester, Mr. Sinister, Mr. Sinister, which is a big baddie in the X-Men world.
So why is there a
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were to go to, like, let's say you went to a pharmacy back in the day, you would get a comic book from their newsstand that was just, where all the magazines were. It would have a UPC symbol down there. UPC, right? So back in the day, there was a issue with the comic book sellers. They were like, we want to be distinguished from just the everyday regular comic book. The ones with the UPC codes are called newsstand. And then these with the characters on them, these are called direct edition. So all it means is a direct edition came from a comic book store of some kind. And then the UPC code means those come from like the supermarkets or the bookstores or somewhere that wasn't a comic distributor.
Cool.
Okay.
Mrs. Jams says, "Love watching you both are amazing. Thank you
Aw,
very
you're
much."
so sweet. That man, you can keep talking anytime you want to tell us.
Joanne said, "Where's Jared?" I just keep getting like these
These
accents.
random accents.
They just like pop out of nowhere. Joe had 2 photo shoots tonight, so he
Yeah,
couldn't
back to
join us.
back. So I couldn't. All right.
Oh,
Here's
2
an
minutes are up. Thanks for joining us.
They are not up. So this one, so if, Marvel and DC are the big comic book publishers out there that a
Right.
lot of people know. I'm a huge fan of only like one character from each, right? So in DC, I love Superman. In Marvel, I love Ghost Rider. But my heart is really in the indie comic world, and this is an indie comic called. Um, this is a series called "Something Is Killing the Children." Sounds more gruesome than it
Right.
is. It's just in the
I'm
world.
surprised you like it.
In this world, there are monsters that just kill anyone, not just the children. But it's a poetic display on the title. Anyway, this is called Book of Slaughter. Slaughter is actually this family's last name, and
Not what they
so
actually do.
and they do slaughter. Yeah, but anyway, I like this. This was a nice cover. I like
I'm
it.
really shocked you like that. That's pretty gruesome for you.
I don't read
Mrs.
it.
Jam says, "I feel you, Sandy. My accent always pops when talking so much."
All right,
And
I'm
then I
gonna
just make
do.
up random accents, I guess.
So this one
Oh,
is my
that's a
favorite
foil cover.
artist. Yes, good eye, Sandy, good eye. So it's hard to tell because of the foil, but this is by my favorite artist. Let me find his name right quick. His name is
Oh, it's
right.
like an egg, an Easter egg.
Can you see that right there? You can't tell. It says
Oh,
McFarlane, but it's
I
hard
see
to read.
something. Okay.
So this is the guy that made Spider-Man really famous. He's the co-creator of Venom, and he's the creator of Spawn. And so he's got a big place in my heart and collection. But this is a
Cool.
nice crispy foil one.
It is very crispy.
All right, let me show you this last thing. And it's not a comic book, but I took my daughter to one downtown a week or two ago, and she was like, "Dad, I found this thing. I think you're gonna like it. Can I buy it?" And I was like, "Sure." And she brought it back.
What is it? It looks like
It's
an
a
album
it's
cover.
an album cover. It's exactly what it is.
How cool is that?
And there's the tracks.
Way cool. Alien creatures.
So now I'm on the hunt for this album, whatever it is. Like I
So
want
that's just
it's just the cover, the sleeve.
where did
There's
she
no
find it?
so there's so in downtown we have a couple of like eclectic stores there, right? So there's a
Okay.
bookstore that was next door where I dropped her off. The store she was in was like a thrift shop, and I don't remember which of those two she found it in. But if I next week, I won't do it now because we want to continue, but I have this cover right over there. I wish I could show it to you. It's
I feel like
this.
you should frame that.
I
I really do
want
feel
to,
like you should frame
yes,
it.
that's exactly. But if I can find the record, I want to put it in there and then frame it all
And
together.
then
But
that is super neat.
it
What a
is
good
cool.
find.
I know. 50
Mrs.
cents.
Jams loves it. She says, "What? Wow, that's
She,
awesome." I
yeah,
never even knew that such a thing existed.
I didn't either. So when my daughter brought it home, I was like, that is freaking awesome.
I love it. I love it so much. That was
This,
so sweet.
it really was. It really was. So anyway, okay. That's the comic hour. Okay,
Okay,
Joanne.
so I want to share a book I found while I
Okay.
was in URA.
Okay.
Hold on. Hey guys, it's me, Mr. Jams. So now
They
the
switch it up.
jams are together. Oh,
Real
they're
quick,
switching for now.
I found out that Mrs. Jams likes to watch us on the big screen TV, but if she does that, she can't comment.
Oh, she
And
can't
Mr.
comment.
Jams likes to, so he'll watch from the laptop or the computer, so he can't comment.
Oh, I love it. That's so awesome.
All right,
So,
but
a little bit about me for those of you that are new to the show. I love history stuff. I love weird history, and I love reading. I have a little bit of a reading issue, so like I read super fast and I don't have like good comprehension. And anyway, so I where we parked downtown in Uray, and we were walking to the restaurant we were going to have dinner at, and we passed a bookstore. I love a bookstore. I don't know, it's just a really cool feeling. In their window they had their display. In their display they had this book. My life as a whore. So I bought it.
Hold on, real
This
quick.
book.
This does not surprise me, anyone.
It shouldn't
For those of
surprise
you
if
who are
you know
long
me.
term, yeah, it's not surprising at all.
So let me look. This is how much we've read. I read on the way
Oh my
home
gosh, that's
8 hours worth because the drive was 10 hours. 8 hours. Last night I was able to pick up and read a little bit of it, but I'm almost done. So now I've slowed down because I don't want it to end because it's so good. So I'm gonna read
wow.
y'all if y'all are okay. I'm gonna read y'all
Yeah, yeah. I like
the
yes,
thing about
yes.
it. Okay. So this is the biography of Madame Laura Evans and her life, 1871 to 1953. Okay. So Laura Evans wasn't any ordinary soiled dove from the days of Colorado's Wild West. Raised by a grand cyclops of the KKK from Mobile, Alabama branch, she wasn't about to let anything stand in the way of what she wanted. She wanted to be rich. Laura worked in parlors in Denver, Leadville, Central City, and Salida until she opened her own Salida parlor house. Laura's house stayed open longer than any other in Colorado, due largely to unusual qualities of its owner. From a lesbian encounter during her first audition into the trade, a gunfight to help save her business, and failed attempts to prevent her friends from poisoning themselves, to selling bootleg booze for her supplier who lay dying on her couch, hiding battered women and children from distraught husbands, suffering from the effects of the depression, and identifying the corpse of a friend beaten to death by a lover. Madame Laura Evans was able to achieve her goal of owning an entire red light district, which stayed open until December 1949. So, the picture in front isn't actually Laura Evans. This right here is Laura Evans.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
love it.
Fascinating life.
Yes, it is a great story. I'll just tell you a little bit about it. But Joanne, let me see. Jam says, "Cool." Joanne says, "I'd love to read it." Absolutely. I've got one more in front of you, but you could absolutely borrow it. Anita said, "Yep, not surprised you shared that with me on Snapchat." Mrs. Jam says it's very intriguing. Listen, um, I've always been intrigued by brothels and stuff like this stuff right here, not like the new stuff that people are, doing now. No, not that. Just like old school stuff like that. So, she left her family because she didn't want to be a part of the KKK, and she left her family when she was at 13 years old. But so there are, um, I mean, granted the title, there are some use of descriptive words. They do use the N word, but it's the times. It's not
Hmm.
like the book is, they're using it now. It's
Yeah.
just those were the times. So anyway, really good read. Highly recommend it. I'm still not
Who's
done
the,
with it,
is
but
she? Is it autobiography or
no, just a
biography?
biography.
Who wrote it?
The author is Tracy Beach. She's a Colorado historian and author
She's a
of The
beach.
Tunnels Under Our Feet. Yeah, Under Our Feet, Colorado's Forgotten Hollow Sidewalks. She was raised in Salida, the small Colorado town that Laura called home for 53 years, and was determined to give this wonderful woman her final wish, a biography of her amazing life.
Show it on the
So,
screen one more time so everyone can see that cover.
My Life as the Whore. And so here, so her title has gotten, I guess it was kind of controversial, but here's a quote. "I'm not a lady of the lamplight. I'm not a soiled dove. I'm a whore. Call me what I am." Direct quote from Laura Evans. And I can respect that. So
Much respect.
anyway,
Not a hater, but that is crazy when you reading off all her like highlights or accolades or whatever you want to call them, right?
mhm.
Like that's impressive. That's impressive. So, um, you find the most interesting books, Sandy. I feel
I
like.
know, because I always come back. I didn't buy a shirt. I was so proud of myself because usually I come back with caps and shirts and blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. This time I brought a book, but I brought from Grand Canyon and, just everything else. I always buy some sort of book. So yeah, I was
Yeah.
super, super excited with this one.
Does your husband, does the assistant get to read? Does he is he a reader?
He's not really a reader. He's like, he'll listen to stuff. So,
I
um,
imagine because if you have enough time to read while driving while he's driving 8 hours, I'm thinking, does he
So I
enjoy or
read
does
it
he
out
not?
loud to him. Like
Ah,
I
okay.
so I was reading
You were
out loud.
so stinking sweet, Sandy.
Yeah, I wanted him to participate in this because at
Okay.
first, because and nothing shocks him by what I tell him. So yeah, he's been we've been reading
Sorry.
together. What?
Stinking comment. Look at the
Oh my
comment.
gosh, Miss Let's Get Oh my
I
god,
don't
that
think
is
that was
hilarious.
a supremely epic comment, John. Okay.
We
So
need to,
appropriate. Just that
that is
is
hilarious.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well,
No,
that
that's a good
is
one.
super sweet of you. Okay, let me just say that. And yes, Anita, I'm glad you mentioned it because I didn't even think about that. The album is 1975, so I can at least start
What were you
honing
talking
in.
about? Did I miss something?
Yeah, there's a few comments actually up above. You
Oh,
could
okay. Mr. Pineapples, does that have a year on that cover?
yes, and I commented it's
I like watching
oh
you count. Oh, that's
wait, is that
nice.
Miss Jams or Jams saying that though? I don't care. I like them both too. Yes, Anita,
That's so funny.
1975 is when it says it was made or published, dropped, whatever. So,
Cool.
um, that is fun, Sandy. I wasn't. You didn't tell me about that book yet, so that's kind of cool.
No, you only saw it if you were on Snapchat because I was reading the intro as I was waiting for my food. We sat at the bar and I was reading my intro, so Eric got a picture of me at the bar while I was reading my my book.
Oh, okay,
The
gotcha,
funny
gotcha.
story with that is the book owner, the book
Shop.
shop owner, he was kind of tickled and he said, "This is the fifth uh, copy that I've sold today."
What?
Yeah. I mean,
Weird.
because it's super fascinating. I mean, that the title catches you. Like I'm going in specifically for this book. I I don't know how libraries
I
are set
feel
up.
like there's this dichotomy though with it where you looking for that, you being interested by the title of that book and purchasing it is completely different than a man who sees that title and purchases that
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. So it has pictures in here of like the
The
soil
beatings.
doves. Yeah.
What
And
the
there's nudity in here. So just be prepared. Like
what is a
it's
soiled
all
dove? Should I know that? I feel like that's
I've never heard the term until this book.
soiled makes me think dirty.
Like I think of like poop. That's what I think of.
Yeah, exactly. And
Mhm.
then dove makes me think a
Of a
bird.
bird,
I
like a
mean that I
poopy
don't know
bird.
what else yeah, pooping bird.
No clue. No, I've never heard it until now. They don't really have a definition on it, which we were trying to figure out like why they say that,
If
but
y'all know what a soiled dove is or what a
I guess
dove
let me look in
represents,
here and
tell
maybe
us.
there's the bibliography. She has all of her end notes and citations.
So maybe there's something in there.
I'll look at it and
Okay.
see, but I don't recall seeing a definition in there.
Because you won't see me type that in my browser, for example, just in case.
I mean,
If
because
y'all remember, Sandy and Joe typed in something. What did y'all type?
we typed in that. Oh my gosh, what was it called?
I don't
Oh,
want to
that
repeat
conquering kin. Joe and I both, thank God I haven't seen any weird ads. But yeah,
If you weren't
sure
here for that
did.
episode, you missed it. Okay, but all three of us are listening to. I don't. Oh, it's Carlota and Joe and Sandy were like, "Let me just look up cockring Ken," and I'm over here
I
like, "Use your private browser,
and
guys."
I think it dawned on us at the same time, like, what have we done?
Yeah.
Because I already get some weird Facebook ads.
Yeah,
Now this
yeah.
is gonna add to it.
It just keeps going. Let
Yeah.
me ask you a question, everyone. I want you to answer in the chat. What's the prettiest name you've ever heard? Okay, we're not going to talk about it. I just want to ask that question, and then everyone type in their answers, please. So, what is the prettiest name you have ever heard? Okay, I'm going to ask you another question. Okay, I want you
Ask.
to answer this, and you can answer it too, Sandy. You can type it in, or you can
Ask
just say
because
it
we
out
gotta
loud.
go
I
already. I'm
know.
fixing to go
Okay,
to bed.
what song breaks your heart every time you listen to it?
What song breaks my heart every
Yeah.
time I listen to it?
So the first question, what's the prettiest name you have ever heard? And the second one is, what song breaks your heart every time you listen to it? I want you to type those in to I want you to type those into the comments, okay? The Prettiest name you've ever heard, and what song breaks your heart every time you listen to it?
One More
Okay.
Try by Timmy T, 1992.
Oh my!
I was 11.
She had a thing back then.
I
She had a
never
thing.
even dated, never had a boyfriend. I was the ugly little duckling. And I cried. I mean, like, no one dumped me, but that was my song.
But she felt it. She felt it.
I
Okay.
felt that in my soul. Oh
Yeah,
my
she did.
gosh. And then MySpace comes around and I add Timmy T and I told him how much I loved his song and it was the best song ever. And
Yeah, it
if you hear
was. Yeah.
if you hear the song, it's like, yeah, an 11-year-old wrote that.
All right. Question number three. Question number three.
Jam says Superman theme song.
I cannot I
Man,
mean,
isn't that just
it gets me going. I feel like I can tackle a bear
I
easily.
always go back to Christopher Reeves
And
and my love for
yes.
Christopher Reeves. And now that we've been talking about this, it just now dawned on me what posters I'm going to get for my basement, for my theater room. I'm
What?
going to get the Superman one.
Nice one. Oh, that's right,
Once
because you
I
got to
put them up.
populate your basement with some items on the walls, huh?
Yeah. Did you see this
Sandy.
one? I
Oh,
finally
I
got
did.
my
I
coffee
did get to
for it.
see it a little bit. Yes, yes, it's
Yeah.
gorgeous. It's beautiful.
That's in Greece.
Oh, okay, okay.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to stay quiet because I'm almost gonna jump out of myself, but I can't. All right. Here's another question. Next question is,
Okay,
what
ready.
is the most intimate, non-sex related thing you do with your your significant other? Sorry.
What
What
is
is
the
the
most
most intimate, non-sexual thing you do with your significant other? I want you to think about that one.
Okay.
And last question. How many was it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that sounds right. 4. Okay,
Jam says,
last question.
cool. Kel told me you're a fan of Superman. I have loved Superman since I was little. Like as a kid, I remember cutting stuff out of magazines and hanging those up in my room. Like
Yes.
my
So
parents weren't like big on buying me posters. So I just stuff that I found on magazines was my thing.
Jams and I were talking, and I was like, I need to ask her that. Did you ever watch Smallville when it was on TV? Were you a
Mm-mm,
fan of that? Did you know what it was
mm-mm.
about? Did you know it existed?
I knew it existed. I've just never watched it. But I remember the connection uh with him going to school at Smallville or whatever. Yeah.
Hmm. So there's some in one of the seasons, I think it's like season 2 or 3. Christopher Reeve makes an appearance and has a character, and he reoccurs not as Superman, but as someone super pivotal.
Really?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
cool is that? I had
So
no
it was like
idea.
one of his. He appears several times throughout the course of the season, and but it is one of his, if not the last, appearance of
Hmm.
him before he passed away.
Wow.
And I remember on the end of the episode, right? So he in his wheelchair and Tom Welling, both of them outside of their characters, they come out at the end of the show and they're like, basically they're saying make a donation to the Christopher Reeve Foundation, get these cool dog tags, and know that the money goes to research for spine repair,
Spine injury. Yeah.
spine injury, yeah, all that kind of stuff. And so it was real cool. Anyway, I remember ordering mine, and I still have mine. They're
Oh, really?
sick. I'll show you next week, but
Okay.
they are gorgeous. Necklace and
John's
the
song,
dog tag.
It's So Hard to Say Goodbye by Boys to Men. Oh, I love that
Mm.
song too. That's a good one, John. That's a
That's
good
a
one.
great one, actually. That is a great
And
one.
then Jam says, I would put a cape on as a kid and would pretend to fly around the house.
That was
That is
me
so
too. That was
cool.
me. Yes. Yeah, Jam.
And then
So as
I
long as I've
like,
known, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, so as long as I've known Sandy, she has been a Superman fan, and it's been cool that she has
My
been.
next
So
tattoo is going to be the Superman S.
hush your mouth, girl.
It is. I just need to figure out
Oh,
where I need to put it. Just because
yeah.
like most of my stuff kind of has some themes going. So,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I'm going to do it.
All right, last question I want to ask you all. Which real life death of a TV show? The question was TV show actor, but I'm going to just leave it open to just entertainment
Okay.
person.
So singer or,
Yes, singer,
okay.
dancer, movies, television, anything where it's like a media, entertainment media person.
Sean says he has
DJ,
a song
DJ.
on his phone.
Which real life death of a entertainment person left you heartbroken? All right. So
I
now,
mean, I'm
Sandy, I'm going
glad
to
you
take you
said
through the Okay.
Kid Craddock.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was really I took that really hard.
And I still do. I still do.
Every time his death anniversary comes around, it's just
I
so
can't believe I
hard.
get so whatever for a radio show personality, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. And I remember the day. I remember where I was. I remember being at work. I was at State Farm, and I was on the third floor of the building that I was in. And I remember I was like, "No way!" I was like,
We
"No
were at car
mames news,
races. Yeah, we
no."
were at car races in Idalou. It was with my brothers. We were leaving, and then it came on, and I'm like,
Mm.
it was just devastating. It was like,
Yeah, I
no
remember
way.
spinning that day. I remember just thinking, "Did they just say that?" And I remember looking and I was like, "At the golf?
At the
No."
golf tournament.
Yeah.
Joanne says Ricky Nelson, and
Who's
she says
Ricky? I
I'm
know
showing
that
my
name.
age. Who's
I
Ricky
recognize the
Nelson?
name. Singer?
Is it
Or
Willie Nelson's dad, Joanne?
All right,
No, I
Sandy,
don't know
what's
who
the
that is.
prettiest name you've ever heard?
Oh gosh, I honestly not sure. I couldn't think of one that I really, really liked.
Okay. If you think of one later, come back to it. I'm gonna say I think the very first time,
It's a singer,
Bianca. I think anytime I've seen a
Bianca.
Bianca, I'm like, man, that whether they're a child or an adult, I'm like, obviously they've just been sprinkled on with good looks beyond measure.
I mean, the thing is like you have to live up to a name. Like if you get like a name like Blanca, you better be Blanca.
Oh
You know
my
what I'm
I'll
saying?
have to tell you something off camera. I can't say.
Like,
Yes,
and
you're
then
right.
you get like Linda, and then
Oh,
you're ugly duckling. No fuck.
all right. You told us the song. What is the most intimate, non-sex thing you do with your significant other?
I feel like us
I was gonna
reading a
say,
book,
I wouldn't have
it's
known what to
pretty
say until
intimate.
you just said it, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, that is the most sweetest thing ever." Like reading your book aloud to your spouse on the car ride.
Yeah, 8 hours
Wow.
worth. 8 hours
Yeah.
worth. Yeah.
So okay, and
And then
then
it's like yesterday he was working and I was like sitting to where he within earshot to where he could hear
uh-huh.
because because he knows it's something that I like, so he wants to partake in my passions.
Aw, that's so freaking sweet, Sandy.
I
Y'all so cute
know.
together. I swear to
I know.
gosh.
Hey, and then we'll be like on the freaking Facebook. It's complicated, not really. The Think Ozzy and Harriet show.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. What's Ozzy and Harriet show?
I know.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm showing my age now.
And, Joanne, bring it to the 90s. What show could we compare
Yeah.
it to?
Yeah, yeah.
Jam says comics.
Oh, on the most intimate non-sex thing you do with your significant other's aw, that would be yeah, that's pretty special, Gems.
Yeah, because if
That
you like it's something that brings you together, that you spend time together, that it's just your thing. Because I'm definitely not reading my book to my child. So this is
yes,
just a me
yes,
and him thing.
yes. Let me think. Song that breaks my heart. I always and Joe and I talk about this one a lot. It's always Butterfly Kisses. Can't
Oh,
start that song unless I'm by myself. And even when I'm by myself,
butterfly
it's hard because
kisses.
I just start, no, my babies are getting older.
Gosh.
It's worse when you're a father of daughters. I was already crying when I wasn't a father and then became a father. It was like, good God, it just keeps.
Joanne said, shit, guys.
So
Sorry,
that song gets
Joanne.
me there. Most intimate non-sex thing you do with your
And
significant
she
other.
and Joanne says, me always cooking for him. That's
Oh,
good.
that
I
is
love that.
legit. She
'Cause
does, yeah.
man, Joanne, you hook it up.
You
You were
could,
like making
yeah.
tortillas
I
and
know, and fresh ones
biscuits
all the time.
and
She's like, my husband doesn't get store-bought pinches,
I
store-bought
be
tortillas. She's
pinche
like,
fatty
here we
fatty
go.
2x4 over here with Joanne's
No, she's like, I made some biscuits, y'all. Here's a pie. I'm like, her Thanksgiving is awesome.
All right, Jamie, I got to read a little bit more chapter. Yeah, wrap it up.
Okay. Let me do my last one here. For me, most intimate with my significant other. You know, like I like when she and I can just sit down and watch a movie together. And even if she falls asleep, like, but I don't mind like either rubbing or scratching her head because I know that makes her feel really good,
Her
or
eyes roll back.
Yeah. You see those videos where people are doing that and they stop and then then she'll like look for their hand and put it back on their head. Like
Get one of
that's
those little wire
oh
chingaderas.
the yeah,
And
yeah, I
then
know
I
what
don't know, she's like me though. We've got curly hair
you
and
do have
sometimes I
curly
get
hair.
stuck.
Yeah.
Never mind,
So
don't
it's
do
either the
that. It
head
just pisses her off.
or her feet, rubbing her feet when we're watching a movie and it's just us two. And it
I made
just
56 tortillas Monday and I gave some to Evan.
freaking Evan.
Good
He
Lord.
got it good.
My mom used to make so many tortillas. I mean, it was insane. I wish I
Yeah,
would have taken a picture of when we were little, how many tortillas she made us.
really. You missed those days, huh?
Mhm. Oh, I do. Just because
One
freaking gluten.
one
Pinche
day it
gluten
just
culero.
one day was your last tortillas from your mom's house living with her, right? And you
Mhm.
didn't even realize it. So
Yeah.
sorry. All right, everyone. Well, we love you. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank
Hopefully,
you all for
Joe can hang
listening
out with
to
us
us.
next time. But we'll be back next week with some more No Mammoths news and everything else. So make sure you stick around tomorrow or next week. And you all have a great night. And if you have a significant other, go do something sweet with them, okay? Or not.
Non-intimate. Don't be getting a back rub and expecting things. Good night, you
Good
guys.
night, everyone. Love y'all.
Live life.